Hi, and welcome back to the channel. This video is in response to the DBK challenge that was issued on Thursday. Dutch Bushcraft Knives has a DBK challenge. DBK obviously stands for Dutch Bushcraft Knives. I don't know why I can't say that. But basically, it's what are the if you could only have 3 knives, what would they be? So got a little extra time, so I figured I would take a look. You know, that challenge is actually harder than it seems. I think for any knife guy with I guess with a collection or what I like to call my rotation, since I try to use all my knives. I think it's kind of hard because you know, I tend to give I guess a duty or a use for each knife that I've got. You know, there's some that I use for, you know, for woodworking, some that I use just for general EDC. You know, you get the point. So anyway, the first knife that I've got here, I don't think it's technically a knife. You know, it's kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit. This may surprise a few people, but I get a lot of use out of this knife. And without further ado, here it is. It's the Cold Steel Kukri. This is just the regular kukri. It's not the royal kukri or anything like that. It's just the bare bones, you know, spring steel. This thing has been put through the paces. I mainly use it to clear brush. Every time, you know, during the spring, I like to, or not the spring, but like during the fall, I like to, you know, trim my oak trees and, you know, basically any of my trees, you know, I'll go out there and prune them. I'll hack branches off with this thing. I'll de-limb logs. I mean, I use this thing for a lot of stuff. I mean, I've got a compost pile in the backyard about 4 feet high, just from branches and leaves and stuff that I've hacked off with this bad boy before I put it in the wood chipper. So I'd have to say this is going to be one of my choices, even though it's not technically a knife. I get it. All right, let's see here. The second one I'm going to have to say is going to be good old Spyderco PM2. This one just happens to be a Blade HQ exclusive. This is one in M4. Now I had to really think about this one. This knife can do anything I think that a folder is going to be needed to do. It's got that flat grind which will slice even when the edge is getting dull. It'll still help with the performance of slicing. That's why over the years I've gravitated towards more of the flat grinds. You know. It's a really useful blade shape. You know, the leaf shape is a good blade shape, but as far as you know, the profile or, you know, and all that, this thing can't really be beat. You know, that lock is also awesome. Fidget factor is, and it's a 10 on this knife. Love the jade scales. They're G10. M4 blade. You know, one of the things that I guess going against this knife is the fact that it's M4 and it's, you know, they rust. You know, of course this one has that coating on it. You know, a diamond-like coating, which kind of mitigates that factor. So I'm gonna have to say the PM2 and M4 is going to be my my second choice. Let's see here. Now the third one. Again, I back to practicality. You know, this isn't your favorite knife video. That's a whole other video. My favorite knives. But I think if I can only have 3, these are this is the reason for these choices. You know, the fact that if I can only have 3, and just thinking of the different uses that I use mine for, I think that these cover all the bases. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and say my third and final choice. It's going to be my Bark River Bravo 1. This thing, besides the awesome sheath, you know, which you can snap off and put on without taking your belt off, which is great. You know, you can set it up in different configurations. You can do whatever you want to do. And right here, I've got my little fire steel that I kind of keep on the knife. And, you know, it comes in handy sometimes. I mean, I don't use it as much as I used to. You know, I haven't been camping this year, but I do use this knife. This particular knife happens to be A2, and it is well used. This isn't my only Bravo. This isn't my only Bark River knife, but it's my favorite, and it's the most used. I've got an Aurora also, and that one's cool. That one's also an A2. I had I can't remember the name of the other one, but I took it back. It was too small. I'm not even gonna. I may mention the name during an edit or something like that. But I have to say, the third and final choice is going to be my Bark River Bravo. Love that, man. That handle shape. I mean, I'm a fairly large guy, but you know, I run about 250, 6'3". Hands big enough to palm a basketball, but not like grip it Michael Jordan style. You know, I can hold it, but if you can knock it out of my hand if you tap it. You know, that if that makes any sense to you. But for me, this handle shape, man, it's smooth, it's ergonomic. I prefer the thumb ramp. I know a lot of people don't. They try to take it, you know, I've seen some people shave it off, or they'll just buy the version without it. To me, that adds to the knife. That's part of my appeal. I love that thumb ramp. If I had a finger choil, this thing would be an all-time favorite knife. Fixed blade anyway. So yeah, those are my three choices. If I had to make the choice right now, those are the three that I would choose. Now, I do have a couple of runner-ups. So, runner-up number one, it's another cold steel. But this is my SRK in 3V. This is a badass knife. I don't use it as much as I should or could use it. This is it's my designated truck knife. I keep this in the truck. Yeah, this thing is, and it's stout. I love that handle. Man, they don't get any more grippy than that cold steel grip. You know, this thing comes razor sharp. Yeah, nice blade profile. I love that. And it's almost a Bowie clip point. That little swedge on there, but it's a sweet knife. You can baton with it, you know, if you want to. Again, I use my that Bark River Bravo 1 for a lot of batoning, but small kindling wood for barbecue fires. You know, I pretty much barbecue every weekend, and so I use that. So anyway, this is my first runner-up. Second runner-up, I'm gonna have to go with my 0452 ZT full titanium. I just love this knife. It's so light for the size, so sleek. I've got different clips for it. This one I put on one of the original one, I believe. I had I've got a couple different versions I like to play around with. Sometimes I'll change up the spacers. You know, I've got some full titanium black spacers that I bought off of eBay. But sometimes I'll just mess around and just go back to the original form. So this is how it's configured these days. So yeah, this is a sweet ass knife right here. It is S35V, and the blade shape, it's not a flat grind, but it's still it's close enough. You know, it's that really high profile. Man, that thing slices like crazy. I did have to take off that little V edge on there. For some reason, it didn't cut the way I wanted it to. The way I kind of come to expect a knife to cut. The only drawback for this, and people may disagree with this, but I'm not the biggest fan of S35VN. I like it, I understand it's supposed to be a step up from S30, and Chris Reeve knives and all that design. That's cool. Man, other than the S35 VM, this thing would be perfect. I wish they would offer these in different steels other than the S35 VM. I mean, it works, it's great, but honestly, I think I prefer CTS XHP. I'd prefer that. I'm not gonna get into blade steels, but yeah, if this thing was even S30, I like S30. It just seems so easy to sharpen and it holds an edge. This is supposed to be easy to sharpen, but the edge holding ability isn't quite what I want. And I don't know if it's the heat treat or whatnot, but that's the only thing that keeps this knife from being perfect. So anyway, that's my second runner-up. Third, I'm gonna have to say, just going back, the whole premise of this was if you only had 3 knives, so different uses, blah blah blah. Kind of a survivalism in mind, toughness, things like that. I have to go with another cold steel. My Recon 1. This one's a CTS XHP, and it is it's a sweet knife. I don't use it as much as I should. I've kind of gravitated towards slimmer, lighter knives these days. But this thing is awesome. As you can see, I did kind of customize it a little bit with some epoxy. Those of you who watch the old Nothing Fancy videos, you'll see him do the epoxy, because this G10 it's really aggressive, and it will tear your pockets up. So anyway, so I put that on there. I figured I would do the whole thing. I took the scales off and just went and just did the whole thing, and it's held up really well. This epoxy. This knife has been used, as you can see from the pocket clip. It's been carried. Like I said, I don't carry it as much as I used to. I'm going camping or something like that. I may bring this as a camp knife or something like that. But yeah, it's a good one. All right. And I have another runner-up. As you can see, I've put probably way too much thought into this. But I'm going to have to say, again, this isn't technically a knife. But if I can only have 3 sharp tools, I guess, if you want to put it that way, I'm going to have to go with my little cap axe here. This thing, this little S-wing can do anything. Honestly, I could switch out this with my little cold steel kukri and still delimb branches, large and small. That blade just stays so sharp. I can literally cut paper with it. Man, it's not the prettiest steel, but I could honestly just sand that off in a few minutes and have this thing gleaming like it should be. And I put this little I've got this cord here. It kind of helps, if I want to choke up. You can use it for some woodworking, smaller, finer tasks, but it's mainly again used for chopping little, smaller branches, tiny, small logs that I use for my weekend barbecuing. So this thing, it's probably a little sharper than it needs to be. It really doesn't need to cut paper once you get it started, but whatever. I haven't sharpened it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to say that's another runner-up. But it's not technically a knife, but you get the point. Last but not least, let's say my Endura 4. This thing is just a great knife. Again, it's got that flat grind that I love. It's got the blue. I just sold my gray one. I had an identical gray one that was still in the box. It was unused. I just some reason I had kind of have a habit of buying things in pairs, or I'll buy the large version, small version. I've got Griptilians, the large ones, small ones. Hell, I've got the Lawman, which is another great knife, and I've got the mini Lawman. Just an idea of what I'm talking about. But this one, I just happened to get the gray and the blue. The gray, the gray was cool, but I just found myself using the blue so much, and I use this knife for a lot of gardening. It's got a lot of reach for reaching in there you want to cut off some zucchini or something like that without disturbing the other branches. That long, flat leaf-shaped blade just gets the job done. So again, it's a great runner-up. Anyway, that's my conclusion to the DBK 3-knife challenge. Thanks for watching.